Hello everyone, it's Lorica here. I am attempting a bit of a complicated video today, so I hope it works out. I have started a reading plan, and this reading plan is based on Candy from the Great Literary Rabbit Hole, I think it's called. And she also is under Candy's Soul and Soil. I'm terrible with the YouTube names. But anyway, I'll link it for you. And she's doing this DIY literature degree. I'm really intrigued by it. So I thought what I'll do is I will do a reading plan for myself where I read and enjoy it, but I'm also learning from it a little bit. So I've decided to break it down into different sections like theory. So I'm going to do a little bit on the theory, but not go too deep. I'm reading more about how stories flow and not so much on criticism as on, why do we write and what types of stories are out there, right? So the first book I want to share is one I bought a few years ago, and I've already dipped in and out and read quite a lot of it. But I want to share it here because I think it's a good starting point, and it's called The 7 Basic Plots: Why We Tell Stories. And it's written by Christopher Booker, which is a really cool name for somebody that writes, Booker. Anyway, so the premise is that all stories or books can be broken down into 7 basic plots. And the 7 plots are, such a funny word, plots, are overcoming the monster, rag to riches, the quest, voyage and return, comedy, tragedy, and the last one is rebirth. The idea is that all stories form one of these plots or a subplot. Some of them, one of these, like the quest and the comedy could be folded together into one story. But they all have one of these, which is truly fascinating. So I really enjoyed that book. And then I have a few others, but I want to talk about one more when it comes to this theory side. And for me, it's interesting to read writers that I might not always read, or because I believe as a creator, as a writer myself, and I think for artists and for musicians, it's the same. We as creators need to challenge society. We need to challenge the norms. We need to challenge the politics and the religion and the ideas and the quest of what is right and what is wrong. Those things are important to be challenged. And I got this book when I saw it secondhand. I thought, this is the one. I need to get this. It's called Dissonant Voices: Literature and Society in Britain from Chaucer to the Present Day. And it has writers that challenge society and are a little bit, maybe not always on the straight and narrow, but they challenge society. People like Oscar Wilde and William Blake and even Joseph Conrad and Shakespeare. They were not authors that wrote that was maybe necessarily acceptable in their time in many respects. They challenged, and we need to keep on doing that for society to grow and to expand and see other people's opinions and read it. So I think I'm gonna love this book. So that is on the theory side of things, and then we're gonna get into the different periods that I'm looking at. I'm not going to tackle all the periods in literature because it's insane. I can't deal with that. So I'm going to look at these periods from the Romantic, the Victorian, and the modern time. So those three periods kind of follow each other. I feel so serious I talk about this. Anyway, so those are the three periods that I'll be looking at. And I have a whole bunch of books about that came, and they are for me reference material. They're not books I'm going to read from front to back, because it's like you can kill someone with this book. So this is the one that I have, English Literature, the Norton Anthology, volume 2. I got them the wrong way around. And then the Norton Anthology English Literature, volume 1. So I've got these 2 volumes, and together they cover those 3 periods that I am looking at. And in there you have the authors from that time, or lots of them, and how they wrote, and little snippets of their writing, so that you can get a feel for them. So this is just for reference for when I get into reading the different authors that I have these books. And then when I have, so from these periods, I'm breaking it down into themes. The reason I'm breaking it down is so that I can get to the authors I want to read, right? So the themes for me is going to be Gothic and magical realism, and on a minor kind of theme will be South African literature. So I am looking at the Gothic. I got a book for that, which is the Gothic Literature, the York Notes Companion. And it basically describes Gothic literature. The second theme is magical realism. And so for that, I don't have a book. I have it in my head what I think magical realism is. So if you have or know about books that discusses magical realism, let me know. I'd be interested to see if I can get hold of it. But I don't have, but I have my author that I want to take for that. And then South African writing, of course, and I have a book here about South African writing styles, especially in Afrikaans. It's an Afrikaans book. It's called, let me grab it here, show you. Whoops, I am moving. Die Afrikaanse skryfgids, the Afrikaans writing guide. And it talks about different styles of writing, and with relating to Afrikaans and of course then South Africa. So just a book, my mum gave it to me many years ago, so I kept it. So that will be my looking at a little bit of the theme of the Afrikaner or South African author. But I don't know. No. I'm just going to go on. Okay, so I've decided to do part 2 also in this video, because it's not going to make sense to do part 2 if you didn't watch part 1. So I'm just going to do one long video. If you want to keep watching, feel free. So, but now I don't have the book, so you're going to have to excuse me for a moment. So the next section is the authors. And this is where it gets all exciting now. When I break down the authors, and the authors I break down according to the theme and the period that I'm going to be reading. So I'm going to start with the Romantics. And for the Romantics, I have a poet. I've chosen a poet because I love the Romantic poets from that time. I think he's on the cusp, but I'm counting him as a Romantic poet, and that is William Blake. And I have 2 of his books, and this is where that anthology books come in very handy, because they have quite a bit of information about him as well. So I'm planning on reading about him. I've also got a few YouTube videos of documentaries about Blake that I'm planning on watching while I read. So the first little book I have is Songs of Innocence and of Experience. If you can see it, it's just a pretty little book. It's just really beautiful. It literally has taken the pages because he basically self-published, right? Because he had a printing press. He did drawings and illustrations and art and writing, and he combined the two together in his writing. So what you will see on the one side the print that he has printed, and then on the other side it's typed out so we can read it, because trying to read those little letters is not really going to be helpful for me. So I have this, which I'm so excited. And then I have another book, one of Blake's books, which is William Blake's Mystical Map of London, which I bought in the UK. I really love Blake. I don't want to talk too much about him because I'm going to make a video of each of these authors. But yeah, so that's the first one I'm going to go into. And then the second author is, she's also from the Romantics time, but she's a Gothic author. So I'm taking the theme for the Gothic, but also Romantic time. And it is Anne Radcliffe, and I'm going to read The Mysteries of Udolpho with her. And of course, together with that, I have the York Notes Companion for Gothic Literature. And then I have this book to come with it. And then, of course, I will do some research online and see, more about her and some of her other books. So that is Anne Radcliffe. And then the third author is a Victorian, moving up now, down, or whatever, to Victorians. And I'm going to read a book that I have read. So maybe it's a bit of cheating, but I read it when I was super young. I was in my late teens, early 20s when I read this. It was one of the first English classics that I read. Because I was Afrikaans, I didn't read any English really. So this was quite an achievement for me to read. And this is Thomas Hardy, Test of the D'Urbervilles. And I'm super excited. I've only read it then, so I haven't read it after that again. So this is a Collins classic. And I'm looking forward to reading that. So he's also from the Victorians. So again, I'll read the book and refer to the anthologies. And then when it comes to modernism, I have, where is those books? Another poet, Emily Dickinson. So I have the letters of Emily Dickinson I bought last year. And then I have the poems of Emily Dickinson. So I want to read these two together. And see how they, I think it will be so cool to read the letters with the poems. I mean, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And then there is also, I'm going to not talk more because I will do a video of that when the time comes. But there is I can't help myself. There's a Carla Bruni, the musician, the singer. She has a CD or an album now out that she made some of the poems of Emily Dickinson into music, and she sings the poems. Oh, it's just so beautiful, so beautiful. So all of those combined is just like, yeah, I'm just in heaven. So so that's Emily. And then so now we're on 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth author is going to be Haruki Murakami, and that is the magical realism section. And he is also one of the authors that I really admire. And I know, well, let me first show the book. I'm going to read this one. The City and Its Uncertain Walls. Now, he has literally changed my life, this guy. So I just love him. So I'm going to read him, but I want to read him the same time as I read The Great Gatsby, because The Great Gatsby is Murakami's favorite novel. He's apparently obsessed with The Great Gatsby. So I want to see, if I read that, how, just want to see, maybe some of the genius will rub off, right? But I just want to read it together. So that's my Murakami for the magical realism. And then there is a South African author that I want to read as well. Another one that is quite well known. I haven't read this book of his yet, so I want to read it and also maybe go back to some of his other books and read up more about him. And it's The Promise by Damien Galgut. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see that. And I went to the London Book Fair years ago, way before COVID times, long time ago. And I was I attended an author talk where Damien Galgut was part of the discussion. And I really enjoyed his perspective and his viewpoint on things. So, so I think I will do him for the last author to read. Now, at the moment, I'm having one book of each author. I'm not going to read all the books of that author because I will never finish. So I'm just doing one book per author. And this alone will take me over a year, if not longer, because I have other books I also want to read, right? So, but I think it's a start. And if I start with William Blake and something I really enjoy and I get so much emotional reward from, then I think I will move on to the next and next and next. So I'm very excited about this. Let me know what you think about my plan. Does it make any sense? It feels a bit complicated. I have this nice little piece of paper. Maybe I will put it up a little bit in between afterwards here so you can see how I wrote it out. And I think that's it for me. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.